If you have a question for Donna, please do leave it on my page. Happy to answer the question for you. Hi, it is Thursday. Welcome to another of
Talking with Dr. Donna, as I'm on the host and I'm the co-host.
Yes, we have a great co-host tonight. My son, little Zach, is co-hosting with us tonight. So welcome to another episode of Talking with Dr. Donna. Tonight, we're just going to chat a little bit, okay? I want you to ask any questions that you may have. Please make sure that you have any questions. I'm going to try to monitor the chat line and just see how we're looking. See if you have any questions. It is so important that you have questions you get to answer. As you know, my golding generational health. And what does that mean? That means starting with his generation all the way up through my generation, that we are able to be healthy. No longer do I want us to be at the top of the statistics for cardiovascular disease, for cancer, for disease, anything related to heart, high blood, for anything like that. I don't want African Americans to be at the top of that list. So we're building generational health. As I'm healthy, then successive generations will be healthy as well. So remember, I'm live. So if you have any questions, I want you to put them in the chat. Tonight we're going to do some updates about coronavirus. We're going to also just chat a little bit about some of the new things that we're learning about coronavirus, some of the new vaccines that's on the horizon for coronavirus, as well as some new vaccination sites just announced yesterday. So we've got a lot of moving parts, which is great. We needed some assistance. Just want to make sure that we are talking. Thank you so much for co-hosting. Mommy, we'll see you later, okay? Say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So let's talk about coronavirus. Where are we? So I'm going to do Alameda County, and then I'm going to do California, because I think it's important for those of you who do not live in Alameda County that you're still aware of what's happening in your county. So Alameda County up to over 75,000 cases. That's 75,000 people who are testing positive. And it seems to me that I'm hearing and learning about more and more people who are testing positive. And so you're probably getting that same feeling that you're starting to have your families and your friends testing positive for coronavirus. So it's getting closer to as more and more people are continuing to test positive. Over 1,000 people have died in our county from coronavirus. That's a lot of people. And I know, some people are like, oh, that's not that people. But I want you to think about that. Think about 1,000 people. That's 1,000 people who no longer may have a father or a mother, or the aunt who's the life of the party, or the uncle who was the fun one, or the one that they could talk to, cousins. These are really impacting people. So people doesn't sound like a lot. To someone who lost a loved one, that is a lot. Just today or yesterday, found out that a really dear friend of mine growing up lost his father yesterday to coronavirus. So it is impacting many, many, many of us out there. Every death is a death too many from this virus. In the state, we have over 3 million cases in the state of California across the county. Over 13,000 people tested positive today. That's today, Thursday, February the 4th, tested positive for coronavirus. A lot of people. Over 42,000 deaths in the state of California. Over 655 people died today in the state of California from coronavirus. So that's why we're still talking about it. That's why we're still trying to do something about it. That's why it's still in the news. And that's why on Talking with Dr. Donna, we're still going to discuss it because it's killing lots of us. And a lot of people are very cavalier about wearing their masks, about hanging out with people, about socializing. And perhaps it will take someone in your family being impacted for you to stop, but I really hope and pray that that's not what it will take, that you will listen to what we are saying to stop the spread of the virus all at the same time. Do that is wearing a mask everywhere you go when you're outside of your home. That is social distancing. That means staying at 6 feet away from people who do not live in your household. Washing your hands regularly and sanitizing when you're out and about and you don't have water. 3 very simple things that really don't infringe upon your civil liberties to save someone's life. So I want you to think about that and take that into consideration. It's also Black History Month. It's Black History Month, and I know, we celebrate Black History 365 days a year. I understand that, but this month in particular, we're going to shout outs to those who are our icons, who are in generations past or present, who have made an impact in our history. So today, I want to highlight Dr. Rebecca Lee Crumpler, who was the very first African-American female to become a physician. And so that happened in 1864, well over, I think, about 11 years after the first white female was able to graduate from medical school. We have the first Black female graduate from medical school. So thank you, Dr. for opening up those doors for people like me to be able to walk through and follow steps. So hats off to Dr. Rebecca Lee Crumpler. Thank you. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about vaccines. So as you know, there's 2 vaccines that are already out. There's Moderna vaccine and the Pfizer vaccines for a while. And now we are about to have a vaccine that will probably be approved in the next week or so. And that vaccine is from Johnson & Johnson. And this is the long-awaited 1-dose vaccine. A lot of you have been asking, what about that 1-dose vaccine? Well, that's on the horizon. We're very close to getting that 1-dose vaccine by Johnson & Johnson. And it is not as effective as the 2-dose vaccine. It is about 66% effective in terms of preventing mild to moderate disease and about 85% effective from preventing severe disease. But that's still pretty good for one shot, right? The Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines, they think only about 50% effective if you get just one of their 2-dose shots. So for Johnson & Johnson, I have one that's a little bit higher with the 1 dose. It's better than nothing. Going to be great for certain communities. I think definitely as we to get those 2 doses to hard to serve communities in our states and in our county, such as our unhoused population. It might be difficult to give them 1 shot and then to have them come back for a second shot. Our homebound people, seniors, those who have significant disabilities but spend a good majority of their time at home, that might be an option for them. So all of our vaccines that we have, there's not a catch-all. There's not going to be one vaccine that's going to be perfect for everybody. But if we have an arsenal, right, we have a tool bag, we can pull out this for this population or this tool for that other population. Together, we will hope to end the spread of this vaccine. So again, if you have questions, go ahead and type them into the chat. I'm trying to monitor the line here and talk to you at the same time to see if you have any questions. So just go ahead and ask any questions. I see you out there. Hello, Lawanda, Ladawan. I don't know why I called you Lawanda. Beauty is her name. Hi there. Hi, Angela. Sister Cynthia, Sister Sanjay, I see you watching. If you have any questions or something you want to know about, go ahead and type it in and let me know. All right. So we talked about the vaccines. I also want to talk a little bit about what the governor announced yesterday in cooperation with FEMA, that we're starting to open huge vaccine site clinics. One happening in Los Angeles at the LM, and one happening right here in Oakland at the Oakland Coliseum. The goal is to get that vaccine clinic site up and running by like February 16th. That's like in 2 weeks. It's amazing. They're hoping to vaccinate like 6,000 people a day. That would be awesome. You do need to make an appointment. So there is a website, and I'm going to post all of this information on my sites over the next few days. So if you don't get the information tonight, know that it will be posted on my pages so that you can get it, write it down. So the vaccine sites, it's called My Turn. And basically you will go onto the website. It asks if you are eligible, right? You have to be eligible. And as you may or may not know, the state has sort of altered their eligibility. It used to be if we were going by tiers, healthcare workers, then over 75, then over and down the road. Well, the state decided now we're going to just go to an age-based criteria versus risk-based. And so you qualify to and are eligible for the vaccine if you are 65 years and older. 65 years and older, or a healthcare worker. So this is important, okay? 65 years and older care worker. That means if there's anybody in your family who is over the age of 65, that person is eligible to make an appointment to get the vaccine. That's great news. So you can go on the website. There also will be a number that will post that if you have access to a computer, you can call and also get an appointment for this vaccine. That's exciting, people, that we will have almost 6,000 vaccinations a day in Oakland, in our county, right here. So that's exciting. I'm going to try to see if I can volunteer to some vaccines, and hopefully be a rep for those hesitant about getting the vaccine. Hopefully seeing some African-American physicians and African-American nurses out there giving the shots will hopefully make people want to come and get their vaccine. All right, so we have those sites. We heard about the states, case data, and the importance of still continuing to wear masks, social distance, and washing hands. So I'm going to go and see if there's questions out here. Everyone's watching. Can you get the virus more than once? That's an excellent question. And the answer is maybe. We're not sure. That's the real truth of the answer. We think that natural immunity, once you have the disease and you has antibodies, we think that they last about 6 months. We're thinking you are probably okay, but we really don't have any idea of how long it will last after about 6 months. So we do recommend that if you have had coronavirus and you've tested positive and you have had symptoms, right? Because you can test positive and not have symptoms, which means if you test positive, we really don't know how robust a immune response you mounted because you didn't. But if you test positive and have symptoms, we don't know how long it will last before your immunity will last before it starts to wane. So we are recommending if you tested positive and you had symptoms, you will still get the vaccine, because that way you will definitely mount enough immune response so that you hopefully, if you contact with the virus again, do not get the virus. So excellent question, Cynthia. I hope you are feeling much better. All right. Any other questions? How can you stay safe if you live with someone who has the virus? Sure, that is another great question. So if you live with someone who has the virus, the best thing to do is to attempt to isolate yourself from the person who has the virus. And what do I mean? That means you're not sharing a bathroom, excuse me, not sharing a bedroom. If there's spaces, you're not in the common spaces together, that you do try to in common spaces, the kitchen, for example, if you need to come in. It's ideal. I'm going to give you the ideal scenario. If someone tests positive that you live with, ideally, that person would pretty much remain in their room, would have a bathroom to use, and there'd be delivered to them outside of that they simply open up the door, grab the tray of food, eat it, and then put the tray door, you pick it up, take it away, disappear it all down. That's ideal. We understand for many, many people that there might be multi-generational household, right? Or you're living in a house where you don't have a separate bathroom, where you're not able to isolate that person. So what do you do in those cases? The best thing to do is to attempt to, first you should wear a mask. So everybody in the household should be wearing masks, even inside the house, because you're not able to isolate. And you will try to do the best you can to keep away from that person as much as you can and as best you can. And that's the way that you try to handle it. Think of that person as being highly infectious. And I know sometimes it's our mommies who are testing positive and they have newborn babies that they're taking care of. And so you to your mothers to just put a mask on if you can. Hey, this double mask, we haven't had any recommendations from the CDC that says you should not double mask. I double mask when I go out in public. I wear a surgical mask or an N95 mask, and then I put another mask over it that's washable, so I can take that off and toss it in the washing machine and wash it. So the idea is to try to stay as far away from the person who has tested positive as we can. All right. If you're vaccinated, should you still wear a mask? Yes, definitely. Even if you have a vaccine. So consider this. One vaccine is about 5% effective. That means there's 5% chance that if you get the virus that you could still get a little sick. The other vaccine is percent effective. That means you have a 6% chance if you come into contact with the virus that you actually might get sick. The third vaccine that's coming out maybe in the next week or so is only 85% effective. So now you're like a 15% chance, right? So you still want to wear a mask because you want to be as close to 100% as possible. So having the vaccine and wearing a mask even after vaccinating will help you get closer to that 100%. So yes, absolutely, wear a mask even after you're vaccinated. All right, things have opened up. Are we able to open our bubble? I say not quite yet. You should still remain in a bubble. And I don't know if you all recall, we've asked you to create a bubble, a small group of people, ideally only people in your household, and maybe people who you see very frequently to be in your bubble. That means that you can come around them, still trying to wear a mask and social distance as much as possible if they're outside of your household. And you can still come together. I don't think we're quite ready to open that bubble, particularly if we have in the state of California 13,000 new positive cases just today. I don't think we're ready to open up that bubble. I know some restaurants we're starting outdoor dining again. And, you know, that is, we have to weigh economics and health. So some things we do are for economic survival and some things we do for medical survival. So I think the economic survival is why we're opening up restaurants for dining. And so just be very judicious with who you're dining with. I think you definitely want to keep your bubble small. It's not time to just open up and start hanging out with all of your friends. I miss your friends and you miss your family. I miss my friends. I miss my families. I miss not being able to hang out. But it's just not time yet. And we want to get this virus down as much as possible. We want to get as many people vaccinated as possible so that we can get that herd immunity that I talked about, many episodes ago. We want to reach that threshold where people are vaccinated. Therefore, most people are protected. And the virus doesn't have anyone to really jump to because we're all protected. All right. Can a vaccinated person catch and spread the virus? Yeah, potentially so. Not because of the vaccine. It's not, once I get vaccinated, now I have the virus in my body and now I can spread it, because actually you're not getting any part of the virus into your body vaccine. You are getting a portion of the protein, right, that is on the outside of virus, that little red crown. I know you've all seen the pictures of coronavirus and you've seen those red little out from the surface of virus. Those little red proteins are called spike proteins, and they crowns, which is why we call that coronavirus, corona meaning crown. And so the virus, the way the vaccine is that it tells your body to create these proteins, to manufacture these proteins that are the same protein that is on that spike protein of the virus. And then it tells your body, make those things, and your body recognizes like, hey, what is that? That's not part of me. Then your body creates antibodies and starts to attack that spike protein, so that in case you come into contact with coronavirus and your body then sees those same spike proteins, the actual virus, you've already revved up your immune system to go fight that virus, grab onto it, kill it, and eliminate it from your body. So that's how the vaccines work. So you can spread the virus if, again, 94% effective, 95% effective, if you happen to fall into that percentage that actually gets sick from the actual virus, yes, you can spread it. All right, let's see. All right, thank you for all the loves and the likes. Let's see any questions. Providers say isolate for 10 days. Some say 14. How many days should the average person isolate? Thank you, Cynthia. That has been so confusing, and I really confusion. So the initial recommendation was 14 days, isolating for 14 days. And the reason we came up with that is because the majority of people start to exhibit symptoms somewhere between 3 and 5 days after being infected. And then we decided, hey, we're going to take a little bit longer period of time for those symptoms to go away and isolate and make sure that you're not going to get sick and be able to expose people to the virus. Well, 14 days is a long time. 2 weeks is a long time. And what we often do in medicine is we have a recommendation, and then we see people are not really living up to that recommendation. And so we say, all right, let's decrease it to what we think might be the minimum and still be safe. And so that's what happened. The 14 days is like ideal. The 10 days is like the minimum amount of time. So anywhere between 10 and 14 days. Okay. Now, there's 2 things that I make sure you understand. And I want you to make sure you understand the difference between isolation and quarantine. Okay. Your isolating is when you might test positive, but you don't have any symptoms. So you're isolating yourself because you want to be removed away from people just in case you start to develop symptoms. You don't want to infect anyone. So you're isolating yourself until you know that, hey, I can get out again. Quarantine is that you actually either, number one, have tested positive and you have symptoms, or you have been in contact with someone who tests positive and symptoms. That means that you're like at a high risk of passing the disease. So we're quarantining you away. You have the disease, you have symptoms. That's a quarantine. We're moving you so that you because we know for a fact that if people come around you, there's a high chance that they might get sick. So the isolation and the quarantine, essentially, end result is us trying to stay away from people. But the amount of time is, if you test positive and you have symptoms, the 10 to 14 day rule isn't, okay, I tested positive today, I started having symptoms, in 14 days, I could go hang out. No, it is from the time that your symptoms resolve or get much improved. So today is the 4th, right? Let's say I tested positive for coronavirus and I started developing some symptoms. I have a runny nose, I have a cough, I have a headache, I've lost my taste, I'm feeling really achy and tired. All right, so 10 days from now would be the 14th. Oh, Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day. I should be able to go hang out, right? Well, on the 8th and 9th, I'm still running. I still have a cough. I still have a headache. Then on Valentine's Day, I can't go hang out with my boo because I'm still should be quarantined. I haven't even started the quarantine yet because I'm symptomatic. So the 10 to 4 days really only matters when you don't have symptoms, and you start the symptoms start better. I hope that helps. Okay. If all of my bubble has been vaccinated, can we travel? I'm not even going to call you out who asked this question. The issue is not your bubble when you travel. The issue is traveling is a mode of transportation and way that you're getting to your destination. So if that your mode of transportation involves you getting on a plane or a train or any other place where there's other people that you do not know that are going to be around you for a long period of time, I would say no. However, if you all in your have been vaccinated, you've been tested, and you're negative, and you guys want to ride together in a car, I'm actually not going to say no to that. I'm going to say you're probably going to be okay because you've been vaccinated and you tested yourself and nobody has symptoms, then I'd say fine. But if you all are trying to get into a plane and fly to Jamaica, I'll say no. Clear for you. I thought we were doing better in the Bay Area and the high numbers were in LA. Is that true? So we are doing okay. I think our 14-day numbers have started to trend down a bit. Definitely the number of people in hospitals have started to trend down, but we still have, over 75,000 cases in our county's numbers, 1,000 people in Alameda. So we're a little bit better than LA County, that's for sure. LA County has a lot of hot spots, but we have some hot spots here. So let me say, there's a reason why Oakland and LA were chosen by the federal government to be places to have large vaccine clinics. Okay, that's because in the Bay Area we are still considered a hotspot. All right, what is your opinion on after the 20 days, my doctor states I should stay isolated from my family, is over to be around others and I still have symptoms? Okay, so again, if you still have symptoms, you really want to limit the number of people that you're going to be around. Now, are your symptoms better? That's one question. So for example, the loss of taste, reportedly that takes a while to come back. So it may not be the first thing that comes back. So you might still have a little bit of a loss of taste after you're better from other symptoms. But if you're still have a fever, if you're coughing, definitely I would say that you're not well enough to come around your family because you still have pretty significant symptoms. All right, let's see. You're welcome. Any other questions? I think I got everybody's questions. The main thing, again, that I wanted to just stress tonight is to remain vigilant. Really, it's not time to let your guard down. It's not time to go hang out. It's not time to jump on a plane and start traveling, because we're just not at those numbers just yet. Hang in there a little while longer. I need you to continue to wear your mask, whether you have a vaccine, you've received both doses of the vaccine or not. I need you to still social distance as much as you possibly can. I need you to still stay tight in your bubbles so that you're only hanging out with your household or another household who's only hanging out with you. And that's the other thing about bubbles. Like, I'm hanging out with somebody, then that other person can't be hanging out with 20 other people, because that really impacts our bubble, right? So I have to make a contract with my friend that, hey, I'm only going to hang out with you, you're only going to hang out with me, and that's safe. Okay, so let's make sure you keep your bubbles. Continue to let people know where to get information. Alameda County Public Health Department is a great site, acdph.org. The California Department of Public Health has a great site, that's covid19.ca.gov. I will post these on my pages tomorrow, but we also have the new My Turn, where you can sign up to receive an appointment to get a vaccine at the Oakland Coliseum when that clinic opens up in the next couple of weeks, to get on that list. And again, anybody that is either a healthcare worker or over the age of 65 is going to be eligible to sign up to get a vaccine. So please tell your family members that are over the age of 65 to sign up. If they don't have access to a computer, there's a phone number that you can call and get your name on a list. It's so important. I know there's a lot of hesitancy out there about the vaccine. If you have vaccine hesitancy, you should know that I know that you have vaccine hesitancy, that I don't blame you for having vaccine hesitancy, that we, and all of those of us who wear white coats in the medical community and the scientific community, we have absolutely lost our ability to just say, trust us, because over 400 years of mistreatment and abuse of Black and brown body. I get it. I get that you have hesitancy. I get that you have questions. If you have questions, then you can ask me. You can leave a comment here. You can email me. My email address is talkingwithdoctor@gmail.com. And the doctor is Dr., no period, talking with Dr. Donna @gmail.com. You can email me. You can leave a comment on any of my pages. I'll answer your questions. My whole goal is to get you out of this pandemic alive and get your loved ones out of this pandemic alive. All right. So we're in this together. We got to do this together. We got to work together until we don't need to do it any longer. Okay. I can't tell you when that will be, but as long as we work together, we can make it through. All right. So thank you for watching another episode of Talking with Dr. Donna. I hope this is informative. You can always go to my YouTube channel, Talking with Dr. Donna, and look at past episodes. I've talked about the virus. I've talked about vaccines. Talked about so many different things. You can watch all of the episodes on Talking with Dr. Donna. Si están mirando en español, está bien, porque la última programa fue en español. So, si tiene preguntas en español, pregúntale aquí. Está bien. So remember, we're going to really try to reach all communities. All of our communities are important. El gente es importante. Es importante que todas las personas quedar y todas las personas hasta la vacuna. Y si tienes preguntas sobre las vacunas, está bien, llamar usted, puede escribir una comment y yo puedo preguntarle tus preguntas. Okay, so contéstale aquí. Okay, so again, if you have questions, let me know. That's what I'm here for. My goal on Talking with Dr. Donna is to build generational health, and that is for all of us to build generational health so that we are healthy as possible. Generation, generation. We pass down good health, just like we want to pass down wealth. All right, remember, every Thursday at 6:30, you have an appointment with your doctor, Dr. Donna, right here on Talking with Dr. Donna. If you have not already subscribed to YouTube channel, I would really, really appreciate it if you go and subscribe, hit that bell icon right next to it, and just tap it so that whenever I go live, you're aware, and we can work through this thing together. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you next week.